Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's time for another episode of How to App on iOS with Jade. It's Drum Week. We're halfway through, I guess, for Drum Week. Pretty excited about today's show. Welcome along. Here we are once again in the middle of Drum Week, and today we are going to be looking at a different AuV plugin type of tool for GarageBand. Welcome to the chat, those who are here. I can see SM Borthwick and Scott. Greetings. Let me know if you're here in the chat. I'm getting better at looking at it. Slowly but surely getting better at it. Well, we can hope. So, what are we doing today? And, well, let's do a recap just quickly. So, during this week, what I've been trying to do for people is, mainly for people who are using GarageBand on iOS, to get a little bit more out of those drums. If you're just using the auto drummer, I'm trying to give you some tips to maybe dip your toe into the deep end and say goodbye to Kyle and the rest of the gang, Anders and everybody. Give them the night off. Test yourself. Make mistakes. For those who are already maybe using the acoustic kits and playing, we had some tips on how to separate the drum tracks to try and get that more realistic studio feel. How when you actually record a real drum kit, there are mics on the kit, so you're separating each part to get more clarity in your kit. Yesterday we went over some tips on how to import things, just some little nifty tricks, plus we also had a look at EG Pulse, which is another alternative. Well, today we are looking at another alternative once again, and that one is DigiStix. Now this, I think I got this before EG Pulse, and Paul over at 4 Pockets is an amazing developer. Over the last day, I've actually had a really good chance to have a chat with him and meet him for the first time. And look, I've been a big supporter of 4 Pockets apps. They're all incredible. There's so much depth to every single one of them. And today we're going to be looking at DigiStix, and I'll announce it now straight up. Paul, in his absolute brilliant generosity, has offered me 3 codes for this app to give away today. So we're going to be doing the same thing as yesterday on this video. Just leave me a comment in the comment section, not here in the chat, after the video's done, and just put the word banger, B-A-N-G-E-R, bang, 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 my baby shot that eye on. And tomorrow we'll be giving away the copy of EG Pulse and 3 copies of this app that we're looking at today, which is really cool. So thank you, Paul from 4 Pockets. Very excited about that. We all know what time it is. As I have a look who else is here. Rock Hard Music. Hello, Tom. G'day. How you going? Good to see you all. But it is time for a bit of tea. I don't know if anybody's a King Diamond fan. He had this awesome song called It Is Time for Tea. Useless facts that you really don't need to know. And a bit of vape action there. ASMR vape action. So where did we leave off yesterday? We were in GarageBand. That's where we were. And we were looking at our little project file here called How to App Drums. So let's open that up. And using AirPlay. You reckon? Thanks for that. So what we had here, let's go through what we had. So initially we started off with this basic guitar track, which is just a Apple loop I flung in here. And on the first day, we added some drums by creating one track of drums and then splitting them and then adding them in here. And that's pretty cool. Yesterday, we didn't do such a complex drum beat, but we added in, you can see down here, these 4 tracks. Well, I've gone in and added an extra one, extra 2 maybe. I think I added a ride and some cymbals just before today's show, so we'll add them into the mix. And this was using EG Pulse. So, before we get into DigiStix right now, what we are going to do is I'm going to duplicate this top track on EG Pulse. So we've got another one of those. I'm going to drag it down to the bottom there. I'm going to show you something else we can do, which you may not have thought of before. So, when you're looking at things like EG Pulse here, and you actually go to I'll open it up here. When you go to this screen to actually add your drum kit, up here to the right, you see I'm hovering over the word pads or keys. You can click between them. You can change notes here. You can actually go back to a keyboard. How do I do that? I can't remember how I went to a keyboard. Or maybe it's in DigiStix, so you can do that. So, I forget what I was saying there. Hey, mistakes! You got to make them to learn. That's what it's all about. Oh, there's the keyboard. So see, there's this little arrow over here where my mouse is hovering. When I click that, that gives you a full screen. And then up the top here, once you click the arrows back, so you've got your option 4 pads. Well, you only get the top row, but you've got your keys here. So if you prefer that way, plus if you don't have an E Drumkit, you can just plug in a Midi keyboard and play your drums that way with your keys. But what I am going to show you right now, let's get out of this edit screen. Gonna, as I showed people yesterday, just swipe across here to my Files app, which is just hovering. And let's get out of GarageBand actually. What we want to do is we want to go to Safari. Get rid of this now. So what I'm going to suggest here is downloading MIDI loops. Because using DigiStix or EG Pulse, it is running off the keyboard and not the actual acoustic drum kit that is kind of like a proprietary MIDI set compared to like a keyboard. It's like when you choose an acoustic guitar in GarageBand, and you use the easy guitar with the the sets, the knobs to change your patterns and everything, and the virtual strings and that. But you can actually open a separate track in keyboard in Alchemy and choose a guitar like an acoustic guitar and use the actual keys to play it. So this is a similar kind of thing. So I'm just on a random MIDI drum loop page here, but just so you can actually buy MIDI loops. I'm just showing you this page. Just it is available to buy them. Sure, there are free ones as well. And the beauty of free ones too, as opposed to downloading actual wave or wave files of loops, you can alter these because it's a MIDI file. So copyright is a little bit of more of a grey area. So if you download a MIDI drum loop that's in MIDI form, I already said MIDI, but it's early. If you download one of these MIDI files, you can change the pattern. And you know what they say about music? You change a certain percentage of that song and that riff or whatever, and it becomes yours. So what I'm going to show you here, just as an example. So let's go to here, MIDI drum files, mobile. What does this give us? No, was I on this one before? That's not what I want. MIDI drum files. it? Midi. I thought that's the one I was actually on earlier. Let's just do this. I can go back. Yeah. Import. Maybe it was here. Anyway, let's skip this because it's boring, but you can actually, most of you would know how to go and download a MIDI file into your download section. I actually did it before, so you can see up the top here, I've got Beat 1R. This is something I just downloaded from a free, maybe if I type free, that's what I had done before. Let's have a look. Midi drum files free. I think that was the one there. Yeah, here it is. So let's download another one. So you can see here, this is just a free MIDI drum page. It's like rock, ethnic. So I'm just going to take this second one, which is what 162 beats. Click on it, download. As you can see up the top here, it's gone to my downloads folder. So now I can close that. Where are we? Now we want to go back to GarageBand. And I want to import this MIDI file into the track. So we want to go to Files, browse from the files up. There it is, Edge 1. So I'll click that, and that's going to appear here, Edge 1 MIDI. So I can now grab this MIDI file and drag it into EG Pulse. Now let's mute everything and have a play of what this beat is. So you can see this basically has given you an entire drum beat. You can go in and edit it. You can split all the tracks like I have above. So you can go in and select all of the, what are these? So all of the hi-hats, whoops. You can actually go in and select them all, copy them, create a new track and split them like we have done in the previous episodes. So that's really cool too. Plus, now we're going to get into the fun stuff. We're going to add DigiStix. So, like in yesterday's videos, we go add a new track, audio unit extensions, and we want to look for DigiStix. And here's a new DigiStix track. So let's just see what it's given us as the first drum kit. We can take this and drag it down to DigiStix, and let's see how different this is. Oh, I don't have any sound. Why is that? I know why. I probably don't have a drum kit selected. Let's have a look at that. Wow, it really got my shit all over the place today. Where are we? There you go. That didn't work. Maybe we can... Maybe it could be what is select the difference in the keypad. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can find out why. See, I'm getting no sound there. Maybe let's try deleting it and importing it again. What was the other one? I think it was Edge. Well, there you go. That's something I'm going to look for more into because, well, I don't really have time to go over it today. But, oh, how's that? We had a random beat there. So it must be due to the to what these keys have been set at. So there was one alternative kick there, one snare. So this is where you would need to go in here and actually edit this yourself and just find which is or just change the actual MIDI notes where they're actually set on this within DigiStix, but we're going to get into that in a sec. So that was something new that I've just learned. I love that shit. I had no idea. So I'd never tried that before. I was just hoping it was going to work because, you know, that's what Apple say. Everything just works. So let's get back to the deal here. We want to bring back this acoustic guitar back in here. Cool. And now we want to go back into DigiStix. And I'm going to hit this arrow down here again, like I did in EG Pulse. And this gives me all of the kit to play with. Now, once again, I'm not going to go into this in depth. This is up for you, but you can see across the top here, just for an example, you've got a mixer. You can control your external controllers, the velocities. You've even got EQ built into this. You can actually create your song patterns. And you've got your pads. There's a lot to customize in this. It is an absolutely huge app. So, just for a starter, let's see if we can play something along with this and create a new beat. There's my cam. So I'm just going to start with a kick and snare. Okay, I'll have a play with it for a second. Gotta love that lag because of using the way I have to, the software I have to use to get this to all work. So let's just give it a play. I will just first go into the track settings and look at the quantization. So that's already turned off because we duplicated the track. All good. Let's give it a go, and then we'll quantize it because of the lag. Cool. There we go. Let's get out of there and let's jump to some quantization. We'll go straight. We'll go on the 8th. Yeah, you're right, Tom. That does happen between some apps. I have noticed when I'm using my E Drumkit, like because I have quite a few different drumming apps, which obviously accept Midi, and it could be because I have a pretty cheap drum kit. Sometimes you will open an app and all the toms are mapped to somewhere completely different. It does differ between some drum apps, so it seems odd, but it is a thing that does happen. Okay, so we've got that first part of the drums there. We've got a kick and snare. We want to go back. Let's add some hats. Cool. Now I'm worried. Let's have a listen. Okay, so obviously can't do that, what I was hoping to do. And that is just record over the top. Let's have a look and see in the options if you actually can. Recording, you can multi-take recording. Let's try that again. See, I'm learning as well. No, I'm not. All right, maybe do I have to have... That's that one, I think. Let's try it again. Cool. So that should have quantized itself as well. Let's have a listen. I want to go back and add, what do we want to add? We want to add a crash. What other crashes we got? We got a shaker. Maybe we'll use a... We'll just check in a crash. Cool. So it's just basic. Nothing too flashy, nothing too exciting. Like with every video that I've been doing. We're going to copy that. We're going to paste it behind. And we're going to double select both of them. And we're going to hit join. So there we go. Now I'm going to create a couple more tracks. And we're going to split these up as per usual. Now there is a reason why I'm creating all these separate tracks with all these different methods of GarageBand, because tomorrow I'm going to be exporting them all into another DAW and messing with them even more and then bringing them back into GarageBand. Sounds complicated, but sometimes you got to try and do complicated things and think out of the box to get different results. We'll just copy. Cool. And God, we're going to need another track there, so we'll duplicate that. We'll put these symbols down the bottom and paste. And I think it was Derek who asked. I'll answer this while I'm going through this track splitting section. You asked about my kit. So my kit is actually like really cheap. It was only worth, I think it was worth about $500. It's a pretty no-name brand kit. So it's pretty much from China. But then I'm only, not really a super drummer. I've only been learning for a very short period of time. So when I got it, well, I say a short period of time, but it's actually been quite a few years. So when I got it, I didn't really think I was going to be good enough or using it anywhere near what I actually am. So I went pretty cheap, knowing that with an electronic drum kit, you can actually upgrade all the pieces. You can go ahead and get... That's my snare hits. Now just remembering, I'm going to zoom in here on the first one. So my marker's there for when I paste this into the next track. Edit and paste. Yeah, so with E Drumkits, as long as you've got a good stand and everything, and you've got a basic setup, you can upgrade each part as you go along. So that's the best bit about an E Drumkit over a normal drum kit, and just get different pads, upgrade to mesh snares or whatever you want to use. Clearly, mesh are always the best. And we'll just grab these kick drums. So that's what I've done. So recently with my electronic drum kit, when I initially got it, the the drum module it's super cheap. It was super crap. Had a lot of issues with it because it only had 12 sounds. That was the trade-off I had. I actually ended up with a really cheap brain, but just a sturdy body. So just recently I've bought a brand new drum module for it, and it's changed everything. It's made the drum kit so much more playable. Okay, so here we are. Let's mute this. Now we've got all these 4 tracks, hopefully all in time. Cool. Now let's go back and have a look at DigiStix. Let's open it up and let's see what we can do. So I'm going to go back to the original track I had. This one. And let's have a look at what we can do with DigiStix. So you once again get a whole lovely selection of kits. All built in here. So this is all just stuff that's with the app, and that's fantastic. Let's try a different kit. What have we got? A modern 80s kit, industrial kit. I want to stick with something that's still... So we've got an alt rock kit. Let's try that one. So once again, I'm just covering this basic part of the drum kit as DigiStix, because I know 3 of you are going to actually get a copy of this to play with yourself. What I quickly want to show you before we wrap everything up is, once again, you can import samples onto this kit as well. It's a little bit different than EG Pulse. And what I'm going to do is select a user kit that I've already made. You actually have to save or start off with a blank kit, or actually save one of the presets into your user bank to be able to write over it, if that makes sense. So this init kit here, this is one I've got saved in my user bank. So you've got default, instruments, and user. You can create your own folders like any kind of application as well. So I'm using this kit so I can drag over the top. Oh, sorry. The reason I've got this set here is it's got no sounds in it. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to find a kit. We're going to go back to this Divine kit that I was using yesterday. And we're going to grab, what do we got? Some kicks. We'll try a different kick than yesterday. So we've got a, we'll try a room 1. What's that sound like? Cool. Going to drag this room 1 over onto the bass drum. Cool. Grab a snare. We'll get a flat uncompressed. We want a volume 3, V3. Cool. Let's have a listen to 2. Pretty similar, eh? We'll drag this snare over here. What else did we have? We had we've got some cymbals. We've got hi-hats here, so we want a closed hat. We'll drag that into the closed hat, and we've got a crash. Let's pick a random one. Nice. And we want to drag this crash over here. So if the gods are looking on us right now, this should have a completely different sound when we go back here. And we'll just mute the guitar just to hear the difference. So you can see, just like EG Pulse and just me showing, and look, you've got all these alternative things that you can add here. You've even got the option, if you just hold down on each pad, you get a menu pop up. You can time stretch. You can rename, you can move things around, you can import samples, you can delete samples from there. There's a hell of a lot of options in this app that are just mind-blowing. Way more than I could ever show anybody in even an hour. I know Doug at the Sound Test Room has done extensive videos on this particular app. So if you want to get a really in-depth view of that, really seriously head over and check out Doug's Sound Test Room, because he has really covered this to the... He's gone right inside like a MFer and turned it inside out. So what the hell am I talking about? It's early. Okay, so we will wrap up just by hopefully, you know, what you've seen here just has expanded a little bit more on what we went through yesterday. I'm going to quickly go through what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to take each of these tracks, these drum tracks that I've split into parts, the GarageBand one, the EG Pulse, the DigiStix one, and we're going to import them all into an app called Auria Pro, which is a DAW that I use quite heavily. So I'm just going to flick GarageBand away for a second there, and we'll open Auria. Takes a little second to open because this is one of my projects. So, and I've done this, why I'm showing you this now quickly is I've already done this previously with one of my songs that's coming out of my album. So these top tracks here, so the kicks, snare, hats, toms, ride, cymbal, these have all been made using GarageBand. So if I pop over and play a bit of this, That's actually just the GarageBand waveforms mixed down and then imported into here. There's a little bit of reverb on there, room verb. But what I'll show you quickly before we wrap everything up is this is what we'll be doing tomorrow. In the effects here, you can add plugins, and there is one that is built into Audio Pro called Drumagog. What it basically does is it's like it takes the waveform and you can actually import a sample over the waveform. So whatever drum sound you've got, you can choose a snare or a kick over the top of that. So you're like rewriting a wav. It sounds like the devil's work. It sounds like a spell, and it shouldn't actually be able to happen, but this thing Drumagog is absolutely amazing. So I'm just going to go ahead across here and turn Drumagog on and turn all the effects actually back onto these. Cool, that's all of them, and let's see what they sound like now, this kit. Massive difference, yeah? Remember, these were just the stock standard, absolute no effects, nothing on them from GarageBand imported into here. So now if I just quickly unsolo all those tracks, and I'll play you a little bit of one of the songs from my new album, which is a first. And this will have all the guitars and everything on it. Bit of shameless promotion. Whoa. So if you weren't awake before, you should be now. Okay, so let's... and basically what we're going to be doing once we import these drums into here is we're going to run Drumagog over them, and then you can export... then you can export them back out of here and then import them as WAV files back into GarageBand if you're more comfortable using something like GarageBand. This is just, now I wouldn't normally put them back into GarageBand because I work predominantly in Audio Pro, and I'm going to be doing an extensive thing on Audio Pro in the coming weeks. So if that's something you're interested in. Also, Cubasis 3 I'm going to be looking at soon as well. So let's get out of here and go back there. So, as I mentioned earlier, as we wrap this up, if you are interested in grabbing a copy of DigiStix, in this video, just put in the word banger. If you've already done it, that's all good. You're already in the running, because we're just going to take all the people who've written banger in the comment section of the video, not the chat. And I'm going to run a random number generator, and we'll give away 1 copy of EG Pulse and 3 copies of DigiStix. And that will be either tomorrow or on Friday. So Thursday for most people around the world, their time. And I will announce now that I'm hoping, I do think it's going ahead, that I am hoping to be interviewing a cool cat named Joey Helpish on the show on Friday. So that is what's happening there. Let me pop over to the chat before I disappear for today. SM Boltwick sounds good. Scott, such a great time to be creating with all that's available on iOS. Isn't it just? That's why I ditched my computer. I didn't own a computer for something like 5 years. And I only had to buy a brand new computer recently just to be able to do live streams and handle all this kind of stuff. I did spend $2,000 on a gaming computer to be able to handle a lot of shit. But even now that I have a computer with all this amazing, probably much better DAWS and stuff, and I still choose to use iOS because everything I've done is in iOS, and it's just easier. God, that woke me up, but it's nearly midnight. Awesome stuff. Thank you kindly for all the words on my song. I'm getting closer to finishing my album. 22 tracks. Oh my God, it's going to be massive. I've been working on it for just over 7 years. Crazy times. That's what happens when you are a one-man band in using iOS. You know, parts of my album have been recorded in aeroplanes. Parts of it have been recorded at the beach while I was living in the US. Parts of it have been recorded in Thailand. Parts of it at home. Parts of it in hospital. You name it. There's been so many parts of my album that's been recorded in very unique and weird places. And that is thanks to iOS. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining me once again. And thank you for all the wonderful comments you guys have been leaving. Don't forget about DigiStix, trying to win a copy. And tomorrow, hope to see you all then when we import these tracks into Auria and see what other sounds we can get. And who knows, we could end up with that little basic guitar loop that we took from GarageBand, and we could end up with a mesh of all 3 different sounds. So maybe the GarageBand kicks, maybe the EG Pulse snare, and maybe the DigiStix China. So that would be cool too. So that wraps it up. Sorry, I'm waffling now. We've gone a little bit long. And I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And take care of yourself. And I will see you tomorrow. I don't think there's anything else I need to say. No, not really. Thanks again for joining me. And I will see you all tomorrow. Adios, amigos.